What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 22 My Team career mode. Last time out we were at the Miami Grand Prix, and whilst it was a pretty difficult race for us, we did manage to win out over Max Verstappen, who was challenging us quite a lot of the way to the finish line. And yeah, we ended up winning the Grand Prix to get our third race win in a row. It's been a pretty good past few races. We had a difficult start to the season, but in the past few races we've managed to get 3 wins in a row, so that's yeah, pretty good. Next up is going to be the Spanish Grand Prix, and that's a track that I kind of have mixed feelings on. I never do amazingly here, but I always kind of deliver a solid performance, you know what I mean? So if I can get like a top 5 here, I'll be pretty happy, but yeah, there's a lot to think about. Championship is currently being led by Alex Albon by only a few points ahead of myself. He had a stronger first 3 races of the season than I did, and also managed to get better results in the races that I won than I did in the races that he won. So yeah, a lot of ups and downs so far this season for the team, but at the moment we lead the Constructors' Championship, and both of our drivers are at the top of the drivers table. I think I said the team leads the drivers, but I mean the team leads the Constructors' Championship, and both of drivers are at the top of the Drivers' Championship. So yeah, it's going pretty well for us at the moment, but you know, you're only as good as your last few races. So if this race doesn't go so well, then we could be looking at something completely different, you know. There's a few drivers who are hot on our heels: Norris, Leclerc, Verstappen. Even they're all kind of looking a bit like that. I realized actually I'd been playing on the wrong difficulty for a little bit, because I was meant to bump up the difficulty to 86 following the rivalry that I won over Sergio Perez at the end of last season. But I guess I didn't do that. So when I went to check today, I was still on 85. So I've just kept it at 85. And yeah, I guess I had a slightly easier ride of things than perhaps I would have had if not, but hopefully you guys can forgive me. Yeah, we're now on 85. We lost the previous rivalry anyway, so it doesn't make too much of a difference. Practice was okay. The pace was, you know, unspectacular, but it wasn't bad. Albon, I think, is going to be one to watch this weekend. Yeah, we're going to have to try and do what we can to get into the top 5. That's the goal I'm aiming for. You know, I think Albon will probably extend his lead over the championship in the next few races, especially with Monaco coming up as well. I'd be very surprised if I take the lead of the championship anytime soon. But you know, I don't need to be leading the championship until the final few races. That's kind of what happened in season 4, if I remember correctly. It was kind of trading back and forth between myself and Leclerc, and there were big long periods where I wasn't leading the championship. But when it came down to the time that matters, which is the final race of the season, that's the race where I extended my advantage fully over him to claim the title. And yeah, it was a very memorable moment for me. But speaking of memorable moments, I hope that this Spanish Grand Prix is going to be a memorable moment, because it will be the first time in my career that I have won 4 races in a row if we manage this. We've had another time where I won 3 on the bounce. I can't remember when it was, but I do distinctly remember having won 3 races in a row. I don't think I've ever won 4 in a row, so this would be quite a momentous occasion if it were to pan out. But before any of that, we have to do qualifying. I go out first on a fresh set of softs, of course, and we cross the line and do a 1:16.3. I would say that would have to be improved at least into the 1:15s if I was going to have any chance of making it into Q2. So we're going to have to improve on that one a little bit. We ran the final few corners, and we will be making it through no matter what happens. We only improved by a couple tenths actually to a 1:16.1. But in the end, that is good enough to see us through in P8, so not too bad. But I hope that we can find a little bit more improvement on that over the course of the qualifying session. Albon on top, 8 tenths in front of me. He's absolutely blitzed the competition there, and I hope that he can continue doing that. He's a bit of a Q1 merchant, and then he kind of tails off over the course of qualifying. I've noticed that trend in the last few races that we've done. So hopefully that's that's going to come to an end now, and he can deliver a strong performance if I can't get on pole myself. Now we're into Q2. Start out on a U set of softs. It's a 1:16.4, and a U set is actually pretty good, so I think that we can definitely get into the 1:15s. this session on a fresh set of softs. You know, just doing a little banker to make sure that that I have something like a baseline to compare to. And yeah, as we around the final corner, we're about 4.5 tenths up, so this will just be good enough to get us into the 115s. It's 115.9, and that is good enough in the end to put us P6. So we are through to Q3. No real difficulties thus far, and hopefully we can have a strong Q3 and maybe find our way into into the top 5, maybe even the top 3, something like that. That would be ideal. Max Verstappen, a little bit of a shock exit there, down in 12th. Not that I'm complaining, because we're currently in a rivalry with him. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can outperform him in the race as well if he's qualified that far down. And yeah, finally we just have to do Q3. We're on a used set of softs once again, unsurprisingly. That's how we start pretty much every Q2 or Q3, and it's only a 116.6 actually. So we're going to need to find a lot of improvement over that if we want to be up there with the big dogs, but ahead of Norris and Leclerc for now, so that's something good at least. You can see as we come into the final sector now, about 6 tenths up, so yeah, that's pretty encouraging to see. And as we round the final corner, you can see that we've gained back a little bit more time. I think it's going to be about 6 or 6.5 tenths roughly, yeah, 63 hundredths as we cross the line, and that is good enough to put us in P6. So not the end of the world. You know, we are pretty good at making up positions here. I obviously went from P9 to P2 last year, but yeah, not quite what I was hoping for, and I'm hoping we can find a bit more performance in the race. You know, if we can get up into the top 5, that would be absolutely ideal. And yeah, hopefully just make sure that Albon can't extend his advantage over us too much in these coming races, because you know, I'm still keen, and I think we're still capable of winning the championship, even if we had some minor setbacks at the beginning. As long as my strong races from here on out go well, you know, Britain. I mean, Britain never goes well for me, really, does it? But other places, Belgium, France, Netherlands. Trying to think where else it's strong for me. The sort of final few races of the season from sort of the USA, Mexico onwards. If those can all go well, then that'd be fantastic. No Austria or Azerbaijan this year. Azerbaijan I'm kind of glad of, because it's not a race that typically goes amazingly for me. But Austria, I think I'm gonna miss, because that's usually a race where I kind of get my teeth back into the championship a little bit. But anyway, we don't need to speculate on what the season is going to look like now. What we need to do is focus on the race that we're about to get into. You know, hopefully I can make it at least sort of top 5, maybe even better than that. And yeah, we'll see how I fare when we get into the race.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya then, a high-speed 2.89-mile circuit which demands an efficient downforce package and bravery on the part of the driver, especially through the blind right of turn 9, which we might just see taken flat out this weekend. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Alex Albon leads us away from pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo, a strong showing from the Australian. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Tsunoda, Robinson, and Fernando Alonso. Oscar Piastri, Norris, Leclerc, and George Russell. Verstappen, Magnussen, Carlos Sainz. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Fittipaldi, Mick Schumacher, Stroll, Robert Schwartzman, and Esteban Ocon. Latifi, Joe, Théo Pourchaire, and Christian Lundgaard. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Indeed, I hope that we can keep that momentum going and get a good points finish here. We're starting P5 due to a penalty on the side of Carlos Sainz, which at his home race I think is not something he would have wanted, but you know, you don't get to choose where you have your penalties, I guess. And yeah, I'm gonna therefore try and just hold on to the position we've got. I think Tsunoda should be not easy to get ahead of, but I should be capable of getting ahead of him. I think the top three are going to be a bit more difficult. Gasly's been extremely strong this season. Ricciardo, maybe I might be able to get ahead of. And Albon, I would say there's basically no chance of me getting past him. So, yeah, congratulations to Albon maybe on winning the race. I mean, maybe he'll get challenged by the guys around him. I don't know. But, yeah, I think my goal here is simply to get ahead of Tsunoda and then see if I can do anything else from there. But we get ready now as the lights come on. And the lights go out. And you can see that we've had a blinding start compared to Yuki Tsunoda there. We go right alongside him. But in the second phase, as usual, he is a lot faster. Fernando Alonso behind me, on the other hand, is not that much faster. He started on the medium tyres, and that has not helped him any. We're going to try and go around the outside of Tsunoda now. Switch to the inside. Doesn't quite happen on this occasion, but that's all right. And yeah, we hold on to P5, and we can try and attack Tsunoda at a later stage. Albon there started on the mediums, and that doesn't seem to be working out for him because Ricciardo and Gasly have already got past him. I'm going to try and make a move on Tsunoda here now. We're going to try and go around the outside at turn 5, I think this is, or it could be 4, not sure. Will we make it stick? It's unconfirmed at the moment. We're going wheel to wheel as we come down to the next corner, and as we go through this next corner, you can see that I do win out the battle. And we're up into P4, so that is pretty much everything I wanted from this. But, you know, why stop here? If Alex Albon is struggling on those medium tyres, I can try and take advantage of that. We could potentially even, you know, get ahead of him in the championship if we have a really strong performance. So, yeah, I'm not gonna just like sit back and let him get that position if I think I can take it. Meanwhile, Piastri has managed to get ahead of Tsunoda behind as well, so I'm sure that he'll be piling pressure on us, and you can see now that he is piling the pressure on us as we move on to lap 4. I think he's going to try and go for a move on me here, maybe, but before he can, unfortunately, his engine blows up behind him, and that is going to be the end of the race for the Williams of Oscar Piastri. Could have been awesome for him to get up into P4. You know, he's had a number of strong performances both in the Williams and in the Haas last season as well, so yeah, disappointing for him to be in such a strong position and have that failure. Nothing really happened after that for a little while. No attacks from any cars behind or anything like that. I was just kind of smooth sailing for a little bit. So we come into the pits now. Lap 11 was our pit lap. And we're going to be putting on the medium tyres to the end of the Grand Prix, potentially. Although there is supposedly going to be some rain coming towards the end of the race. So this might not last till the end of the race. But yeah, we'll see what we're capable of doing. On this stint. Maybe we'll have a bit more pace on the medium tyres. It does sometimes happen in some circuits where I just have way more pace on the mediums compared to the softs. And yeah, as we move now onto lap 16, to the end of lap 16 and onto the start of 17, the first of the medium runners, which was Fernando Alonso, it was actually only him and Albon that were starting on the mediums, if you can believe it. Everyone else started softs. But Leclerc is going to attack up my inside here, and he can't quite make the move stick on this occasion. But it's something that we need to be aware of. You know, Leclerc has made his way, you know, right up behind us, and could very easily be challenging us for this 4th place if we're not careful. You know, he's gonna want to make it through. He's still in the championship fight as well, quite comfortably, I would say. So yeah, we're gonna have a real challenge on our hands if we want to keep him behind. And lap 18, I think he's gonna go for it again, and he's closer on this occasion. So with the DRS, I think he's gonna just about get ahead of us. I try and hold him off to the inside there, but we end up going out a bit wide, and I think that might allow him through on this occasion. We're going wheel to wheel, and yeah, as we come through turn 3, you can see that there's just nothing I could have done to prevent him from going through. He had way too much grip, and I was a bit of a sitting duck on that occasion. But yeah, maybe not the end of the fight. You can see now we're on lap 19, and we got the DRS on Leclerc. I think we're maybe a little bit farther back to go for a move, but we are closing him down rapidly. He's moving to the inside to defend. I'm going to try and go around the outside. He goes a bit deep, and I'm going to try and cut the switch back on him, and we managed to pull it off, and we're back into P4. So, short-lived run in P5 for us, and now Leclerc is back. Meanwhile, Verstappen behind is gaining. Starting 11th, I think he started. That's a really strong position to find himself in P6. He's had a fantastic race so far, and I'm sure that if me and Leclerc continue the squabbling, he will get involved in the fight as well. Lap 25, and you can see that that Verstappen has in fact closed up to the back of this train. But one thing that might save our bacon a little bit is the fact that the rain is actually starting to come down now, and yeah, we're gonna have to put the intermediate tyres on sooner rather than later. I think, you know, the track isn't wet enough for it at the moment, but at some point it will get to that crossover point where the slick tyres are no longer worth going on. You know, the rain is starting to come down, but it's not so severe that I'm losing grip or traction or anything like that. The lap times are a bit slower, but until such time that I feel like I'm really slow, I'm not going to switch the tyres over. And yeah, we'll see what we can do on these mediums until the time to come in has arrived. We move now on to lap 28, and you can see that I still am on the medium tyres. I'm setting lap times that are a few seconds slower than my best, but you know, it's still not so severe that I feel the need to come in. The DRS has just got disabled, so I feel like now is around the time that you'd probably want to box, but they haven't told me to do anything yet. I'm a little bit concerned that the cars around me might try and stay out for the entire duration of the race, but I know that if that happens, we'll probably get a repeat of what happened in the USA in, was it season 4, I think, where I was on the intermediate tyres, and then the rain got heavier and heavier, and it switched to full wet conditions. But they didn't think that I should box because no one else was boxing. But everyone on the intermediate tyres had way more pace than me, and I feel like that will be the case as well. If the track gets wet and I'm on slick tyres and the AI are on slick tyres, they will have the advantage over me by a lot, and I could end up losing many positions, more than just down to P6. I think I could fall behind Russell, who's currently in P7th, and maybe some other cars as well. I'm starting to lose quite a lot of grip through some of these corners, so I've decided to take the executive decision to go onto a set of intermediate tyres to the end of the Grand Prix. I think everyone else is staying out. So this is damage limitation, really. Unfortunately, I think the rain has just screwed us a little bit here out of that P4, but maybe, just maybe, the AI will be slow enough to catch back up to them before the end of the race. But with only 5 laps to do it, it's going to be easier said than done, that's for sure and certain, and we'll see what we're capable of. But yeah, we go on to the intermediate tyres. We're behind everyone now. Porsche there in 20th is 3 seconds up the road, but hopefully we should be able to catch them sooner rather than later, and we'll see what kind of performance we can pull out. And now we're going to move into an overtaking montage in the replay. First off, it's Leclerc that we get past, and now we're looking at Nicholas Latifi, who's the next guy we have to overtake. A little bit of an onboard camera here. I think we're going to dive up the inside at turn 10, and indeed we do just that. And yeah, now we're up into P19, that would be. Next on the agenda is the other Alfa Romeo of Christian Lundgaard, who I think we're going to try and overtake sooner rather than later. We'll go up the inside of him here, a very unconventional spot. Next is the 2 Hasses of first Schwartzman, then Schumacher, and yeah, if we can get past those 2, then that will see us into P16. Then it is Esteban Ocon on my right here, and the 1 remaining AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda, because I think Kevin Magnussen has retired from the race now. Well, actually, no, I think that is Magnussen. I think he hadn't retired yet, but he's about to. So, yeah. Then it's Zhou Guanyu. We're going to try and go around the outside at turn 4. We managed to pull that one off. And next up ahead of us is the Williams of Enzo Fittipaldi, who, yeah, that would see us into P12, I think this is. I'm trying to, yeah, P12. You can see it on my steering wheel there. So we've already made up 9 positions. Next up is Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin, the all-Canadian outfit as they are now. Round the outside of turn 3, I think we're going to be able to make this move happen. And then just ahead of us, I think that's a Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. Yeah, it is. We're going up the inside of him at turn 9, and we're going to see if we can get ahead of Lando Norris here to take P9. I think this would be at turn 10. Are we going to go up the inside here? No, not quite. Oh, we're going to go around the outside of turn 10. Okay. Wow, that's a brave move. Next up is Yuki Tsunoda. My mistake. The previous AlphaTauri I overtook was Kevin Magnussen, but he is now out of the race. You'll see that in just a second. I'm diving up the inside here of Yuki Tsunoda. There's Kevin Magnussen off the track in front of me there. And yeah, to get back into P6, I've only got a couple cars left to overtake, but we are on the final lap of the race at this point. It's Alonso and Russell in front of us to recover P6, which would not be a bad recovery considering how much I got screwed by the game. And now you can see that Verstappen is 9 seconds up the road, so I think it's probably unlikely that I would be able to catch them. But I should definitely be able to get Russell. There's no doubt in my mind that the Inters are way better than the Slicks at this point. I'm gaining multiple seconds a lap on every car on the grid, you know. But I guess everyone else worked out that it wouldn't be worth doing to gain position. You wouldn't quite be able to manage it, and it does seem that is in fact the case. You know, I would have to close up another 8 seconds on the cars in front in just a matter of corners to even get back into the position I was in before. But I can't help but feel like I would have lost out to even Russell and Alonso and maybe some other cars behind those guys as well if I had stayed out on the mediums. I just can't shake that feeling that I would have got way more screwed than the AI. So this is what I would consider damage limitation. Not a bad recovery to P6. You know, I'm still getting 8 points. Pierre Gasly takes his first race win in God knows how long. I think since that Chinese Grand Prix in Season 2, right? Yeah, we are going to come up to the line to take P6. I think if I'd had one more lap, I might have been able to get back into P4. You know, I was gaining by about 5 seconds a lap on Leclerc and Verstappen, but we'll never find out. We do get driver of the day for that heroic effort to fight back from 21st up to 6th, but yeah, disappointing.
Another Spanish Grand Prix is over, and what a special race it was. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out of the track was: speed. It sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
So Gasly does take the win from Albon, and Ricciardo came home in third in the end. There was pretty much no touching these three. Everyone else was massively far behind. So yeah, they were the heroes of this race. Albon definitely will be extending his championship lead by quite a lot off the back of this result. But you know, it's still not a bad result for us. We take away 8 points, so he only extends the gap by about 10, and we can definitely fight him back in the following races.
So let's review the driver's standings. It's a positive result for Alexander Albon, who moves further out in front at the top of the standings. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Natalie Pinkham, come on, who do you pick?
I have to give it to Robinson. That was a commanding performance today. Very impressive indeed.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, next up is Monaco. So I feel like our pain might be about to be exacerbated by that. But after that, I think we're moving into a stretch of the season where hopefully I can have a few good results. You know, I know there's some races in there that don't typically go amazingly for me, like Hungary. But all in all, I'm pretty excited. I think we've got a legitimate shot at the championship. I think Alex Albon is the closest we've had to a teammate so far that's really putting in a strong championship fight. Over 100 points in the first 7 races. That's pretty good. He's leading the championship at the moment. And yeah, I mean, if he wins it, I won't be too disappointed that I didn't win it. But certainly that is the goal I will be aiming for. You know, we're a 2-time world champion now, and winning 3 on the bounce would be absolutely astonishing. Not very many highlights from this race, apparently. They didn't want to show any of those battles with Leclerc, apart from one that was a little bit half-hearted, in my opinion. You know, he tried to go on my inside there, but he couldn't quite make the move stick and had to back out of it, and I think almost actually fell into the clutches of Verstappen. I think it's going to show a few of my overtakes at the end of the race, if I had to guess, because that's where the bulk of the action in this race happened. So yeah, thank you for sticking it out. I know that the beginning of the race wasn't the most action-packed scenario in the world, but you know, they can't all be. And I'm just glad that some cool stuff managed to happen at the end of the Grand Prix. It was pretty mad at the end, the amount of cars I was overtaking. I thought I would show it in a montage style because it's I don't know, just a little bit more exciting than showing it on track, perhaps. Yeah, I would have liked to have got more out of that race, I think. If I could have finished P4, I think I would have been a lot happier. You know, Albon would have only extended the gap by 6 points, and it just would have been it would have been a better result overall for the team and that kind of thing. But you know, there was nothing I could have done. I still maintain that the strategy I went for was the right one, even if it looked like it probably wasn't on paper. If I was an AI, it wouldn't have been the right strategy. But because I'm not, it was 100% the right strategy for me to go on, because I can't drive as well on the wrong compound of tyre as the AI can, and this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with in this game. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I guess it was a good recovery all in all to even make it back into that P6, and I can't beat myself up too much about something that was out of my control. But speaking of out of my control, even though it technically is in my control, next up is Monaco, and that is a circuit that I've never been able to get under control. We had that one P2 finish there that one time, which actually wasn't too bad. Other than that, you know, it's always a bit of a headache for me. Not a particularly easy track, one I struggle with quite a lot. Maybe if I can finish in the top 5 there as well, like I did last season, that would be sort of a good result. But I can't shake the feeling that Albon is going to further extend his championship lead in that race. But that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.